Estamos en vivo.
This is the city of the sun.
El Paso, Texas. Live and talented. Fashion.
Yeah,
Icons.
you go down, you go down.
Artists.
Come on, come on. Yeah, yeah.
Food. Sports.
You go down, you go down, you go down.
Y mucho más.
Come on, yeah, yeah. You go down.
Different is what we do. Live and talented.
Baila El Paso Baila. LAT Studio offers a full dance division with jazz, hip hop, ballet, and contemporary. Visit latstudio.com today.
Hello everyone! Welcome back to another segment of Icons, brought to you by Live and Talented. I've missed you guys. I feel like I haven't been here in a long time. So I'm super excited for today's show. Tonight, we have a very special guest. She's a woman, she's a lawyer, an entrepreneur, and she's here to share some very valuable information. So with no longer ado, let me go ahead and introduce you to Alexandra Serra.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Live and Talented, and we have another episode for Icons. We have a very special guest with us today. She is an attorney. She is a businesswoman in our area, and she's now a candidate for the 327th District Court as a judge. And she's going to tell us all about it. We want to hear more about it. We want to learn more with her. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Alexandria Serra, welcome. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, welcome and have a seat.
Thank you. I am pumped to be here. I appreciate it.
Thank you for being with us today. You've been doing a lot of campaigning.
Oh, goodness, yes.
So I got to learn a little bit more about you because when we met a couple of weeks ago, immediately I went to the internet.
Google.
Yeah. Who is she? Where's she from? But I want you to tell us.
Reviews?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. And you have a great story. And that's what this show's about. Icons is people that have broken barriers, that are still breaking barriers. And we want to hear about it because now that you're vying for this position, right? And we want to see what it's all about.
Sure.
And how you're the better candidate.
Sure.
And the best option for our city. So give us a little bit of depth of Miss Alexandria Serra.
All right, well, what do you want to know?
I want to know, grassroots, a little bit of background and school.
Sure.
Because we're a little bit of a minor town, but a lot of people that come from outside the area have done great things for this city. And so I want you to just tell us a little bit of background on how you're in El Paso now.
Sure, I'm absolutely an El Pasoan. Through and through, I have built my entire career pretty much here in El Paso. So from the ground up, and that's what I stand for, right? Being in the community and building things from the ground up, kind of how my parents did for me. And so I have built my practice. I have a law firm. I have a traffic tickets app. So if you get a traffic ticket, you can snap a picture of it and we take care of it. That's in addition to all the law stuff I do. And then I have 2 other businesses as well. So I am what they call a serial entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I love getting my hands into projects because work ethic is something that's super important to me. I am not a native El Pasoan. I came here about 8 years ago, but after graduating SMU Law. So graduated towards the top of my class of SMU Law.
Wow.
I was a night student because I couldn't afford to go to school full time.
Yeah.
So I worked from basically 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. I would go to school from 4 to 8:30 or 9, drive almost an hour home, do some homework, and do it again and again until I graduated.
Jesus.
Yeah, and that, you'd be amazed how much you can accomplish if you just focus.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm a father of 4 kids, and we tell them this the entire time.
Yeah.
Focus, you know, and there's a lot of distractions in life, but there's also a lot of responsibilities. As you get older, there's more responsibilities. And for somebody like yourself, to accomplish so much already. And with that comes, you do a lot for the community.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
You do a lot for the community because before I met you, I had already seen some of your posts. You've done a lot of lives, and people ask you a lot of questions, and you kind of help out our community. And why is it that you do this? And give us a little bit of background into your idea behind this.
Sure. So it originally came from a friend, and she's like, you have all this knowledge. Lawyers have all this knowledge. Like, why are they not giving it to people? And I thought that was a great idea, so she had me start sharing videos. And so that's where Lawyer Talk came from. So every week I do a segment called Lawyer Talk Thursdays, where I take an issue and kind of break it down for the community. But the deal is this, is that we shouldn't hide the information about the law. We should freely give it out. And so I believe lawyers should empower people to use the law to move their lives forward, right? And not hide the ball, and not make it hard, and not make it scary. Because how many times have you met somebody that gets a paper in the mail, or is getting sued, or doesn't know what's going on?
It's intimidating.
Yeah, it's intimidating, and it shouldn't be that way, right?
Well, I'm glad you say that,
Shouldn't
because
be that way.
for the most part, I think, people think that, or lawyers think that all that information is worth money, and people may not want you to be doing that, but for community that's for the majority low income, for us to get that information coming from a lawyer, that's huge.
Or any, like, I guess, you can go down the Google rabbit hole with anything, especially you're sick, so you type in your symptoms and then you go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Well, the same thing can happen with the law, right? Something happens, or like, hey, can I sue somebody for this? And then you go down this rabbit hole and you get bad information. So what I want to do is just arm people with enough credible information through education to where if they decide to hire an attorney, they know what questions to ask. Or if they want to DM me and ask me like, hey, I don't know, can my employer make me get vaccinated for COVID? Or hey, what are the current rules for COVID? Because when those mandates came down, I did a series of videos so people knew what their responsibilities were, what they could and couldn't do, because everyone's scared. And I want to take people out of that, oh my gosh, I got served with papers, I'm fearful, to, hey, I saw her do something on this. I'm gonna watch that video. I'm gonna feel a little bit better. It's not gonna solve my problems, but at least they know they have somebody that they can count on. And so part of the reason that I'm running for judge is to continue that, but in a position where I can ensure that the law is applied fairly and equally to everyone. And that someone who sits on that bench does not think her time means more or is more valuable than the person standing in front of them. Absolutely. So that's what I can promise as a judge.
And you know what? I want to go into depth about your marketing. I'm sorry, your campaign and what you've been, promoting. But I'm going to backtrack a little bit. What kind of law do you specialize in?
Oh my goodness.
A little bit of everything?
Yeah, a little bit of well, not everything. So I started in civil practice. I am a patent attorney. And for people who don't know what that is, it requires a separate bar exam.
Okay.
So I have a science background. So I've helped patent technologies for major aerospace companies, semiconductor companies, tech companies. I do trademarks, all that stuff. But I wanted to get into the fun and a little bit into the drama, so I became a trial attorney on the criminal side as well, right? Because that goes to trial more often, and I'm really about defending people's rights. I've defended over 5,000 El Pasoans in courts from as little as traffic court to as high as the Court of Criminal Appeals in Texas. So I have really wide range experience on the civil side and the criminal side.
Awesome. And I've had my share of appearances in court.
Okay.
So I was so oblivious to law in general. And I later got my degree and went through a master's program, and I was more, aware, but still never, to this day, I feel, naive to a lot of the piece and parts of law. Even filming or filling out paperwork for a corporation in this business was just, going down the rabbit hole, starting off that way. And I thought, I can do this. I can just, look up the paperwork. But it felt overwhelming. So I said, no, I'm going to hire somebody to do it. So for you to have a wide variety of experience, I think makes you also a better candidate, for what you're going for.
And I think, when people say, like, I've done all of this in this particular area, each case is different in your ability to take all this information. Because, part of being a judge, it's calling balls and strikes, it's knowing the law, it's not favoring one party over another, and it's being able to take what all the attorneys say, right? Or in a trial situation, all what the witnesses say, digest that and come up with justice, whatever that means. And so my experience as an appellate lawyer, as a trial lawyer, as a civil lawyer, as a criminal lawyer, all of those things make me able to take those complex things and really drill it down to what matters.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to talk a little bit about your campaign and what you stand for in that district court. But we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with Alexandria Serra in just a little bit.
Wow, being a judge is so complex. I'm definitely learning a lot of valuable information. Stay tuned. It is now time to thank our sponsors.
El Paso has so much talent that needs to be discovered. You just gotta be at the right spot. LAT Studio is the only spot that cultivates local talent. The artistic division at LAT has placed models and actors in national commercials, Nickelodeon and Netflix. This was their training spot. Oh, did we mention LAT has a new spot with 8,000 square feet of modeling studios and full production sets with our very own YouTube broadcast? Clearly, this is the spot. We're looking for new faces, all ages and looks. Call 590-7000 or visit us at latstudio.com.
Welcome back, everybody. We're here with Alexandria Serra, the candidate, or one of the candidates for the 327th Judge District Court.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
I said it
Yes.
correctly. It's a little mouthful. All right, Alexandria, we were recently talking about how much you do in social media and how much, your information you're providing for our community. One of the topics that we talked about earlier was the family law, right? The types of law that there is. What is the most common, I think, most common problem that you see people asking you about through your social media?
Oh my goodness. So there's two. Lots about cannabis and like the changing laws and what's happening in the city versus in New Mexico.
Yeah.
The laws just changed for recreational and medicinal, right? And when's Texas going to catch up? So that's one on the criminal side. But also family law. You alluded to it.
Yeah,
right?
I did.
My ex isn't paying child support, or my ex won't let me see the kids, or one of those things is typically like, can I do anything about that? What if I'm not paying child support? Can I still see the kids? And those kind of things. So family law questions.
Family law questions is huge.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think people, run to an attorney, without going through the rabbit hole that we were talking about. They just run to an attorney and these are things that maybe you can find, on Google. I'm going to roll some of these or one of these videos, if you don't mind.
Yeah, of course.
From your social media. Let's take a look.
Thinking about getting baked in Texas? If you know, you know. But what's the actual cost of that special brownie? I'm lawyer Alexandria Serra, this is Lawyer Talk Thursday, and you're about to find out. Here are the top 3 things you need to know if you're going to be consuming cannabis in Texas. 1. The amount of cannabis you get caught with can dramatically impact the degree of punishment. Let me demonstrate. Let's assume that each of these tasty treats has THC in it. 1 brownie bite is approximately 9.6 grams, a 2nd-degree felony or 2 to 20 years in prison. Giving away the whole plate, that's manufacturing and delivery, a 1st-degree felony. 2 of these mangoes are also a second-degree felony. And here's the kicker. 1 tiny Sour Patch Kid is a third-degree felony, 2 to 10 years in prison. You may be saying, but wait, Alex, there's only 15 milligrams of THC in that brownie. Well, that's not how Texas law works. Drugs are weighed with adulterants and dilutants like flour, sugar, and gelatin. That means if you have 4 ounces of special brownies with only 15 milligrams of THC, you'll get charged with a full 4 ounces of drugs. 2, the different forms of cannabis matter. Quantity affects the penalty. If you have flour, you can get popped with anything from a Class B misdemeanor to a felony, although you'd have to possess more than 4 ounces to get into felony territory. And 3, Texas recognizes the difference between CBD and THC, THC being that villain in the eyes of the law. Thankfully, CBD is not something that you can get in trouble using. If you're a cannabis advocate like me, I'd urge you to ask your representative to legalize cannabis. We all know its medical benefits.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's a lot of information. And during this break, we were just talking about the amount or the so many ways of felony, occasions or situations that you can get into with possession of, THC or CBD. And kids don't know this, and you're so good at it. Like she was telling me all the different perspectives.
Let me draw you a chart on how you can get in trouble.
So many scenarios that it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like if you eat the weed or the gummy before they get you.
Yeah, the tampering with evidence, that's a felony. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's wild. So if y'all do watch my videos as parents, find a way to talk to your kids about that so that they know, because the age of adult for criminal purposes, right, when you get in trouble is 17. Yeah. So you could be a high school kid and end up in adult court and set yourself up, kind of down the wrong path for employment purposes, for college.
I've seen that happen.
Yeah, and for a silly reason. So just educate yourself so that you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So lots of things. One more thing for parents to think about, right?
Yeah. One more thing that maybe they should, go into educating themselves, and get all those details that you provide. Go to her social media. She's on Instagram. We're gonna put her information down here so you guys can find her and go a little bit glimpse of.
In addition to that, so that goes out to about 13,000 people every week on my social platforms. But then also I take that content, and if you're in business, you should absolutely do this and repurpose it. And so then I upload my video to YouTube, I put it, I transcribe it, and then put it in newsletter form, and that goes out to another 10,000 people. So every week, except a couple during this campaign madness, I send my content out to about 20,000 people, most of them being El Pasoans.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
and where can they sign up for this newsletter?
Sure, it should be on my website, or just you can DM me on my social and I'll throw you on the list.
What's your website? Give everybody your website.
It's SERRA Law, SERRALAWPLLC.com.
There it is. All right. Okay, Miss Alex, or Alexandra. Or
No,
Miss
Alex is good.
Okay,
Alex is good.
Give us a little bit of depth into what the 327th District Court focuses on. What does it specialize in? Because a little bit the research that I did is civil cases. But you said it's a little bit more than that.
Sure. So right now, the 327th District Court is a civil docket and a tax docket. And when I say docket, I mean cases. Okay, docket is kind of like a list of cases. Right?
Also, you're so good at breaking words down in terms. People need that.
Lawyers forget that we're also humans and we need to be able to make this information digestible because not everybody understands. And that's okay, right? I don't understand all the terms in construction or whatever. I don't. So but thank you. So it's a district court. So in our court system, there's municipal courts, which are the city courts that are like traffic tickets and things like that. Some other matters. There's justice of the peace courts, which are like small claims and other types of traffic tickets. So if you get pulled over by PD, you go to municipal. If you get pulled over by sheriff, you go to JP. Yeah. If you want to sue your neighbor for breaking down your rock wall, JP court, okay? And then county courts handle misdemeanor cases and civil cases. District courts handle felony cases and civil cases. So county or district can both handle civil cases. Right now, the 327th is civil. So things like workers' comp claims, different types of contract suits, employment suits, all that kind of stuff. Any kind of civil case could fall in that court.
Okay.
Trademark, I just finished up some trademark litigation that was in a district court where I represented one of the parties. So those kind of things, kind of my specialty stuff, could end up in those courts as well. And then there's also a tax docket. So the 327th handles over 50% of the tax lawsuits. Did you know you could sue over taxes?
No, I don't
No.
know.
Okay, so if it's relevant for people like commercial building owners that go through and they fight your central appraisal district values. Like they say, no, I'm not going to pay those taxes, or that appraisal is too high. And then they go through all those remedies and then they're like, no, we're going to sue. So then once that happens, over 50% of those then land in the 327th. And so that is important because all my experience as a business owner dealing with those type of things, right? The finances and the accounting and dealing with the city and the permits and all of that stuff, I do have an understanding of how that works.
Wow. I mean, it just goes hand in hand. Being an entrepreneur yourself,
we have to deal with that. And I think the way that you learn, I'm a learner by doing. And so with everything else, I kind of have to go through and be like, okay, this is the step, and this is the next step, and this is the next step, because you feel that and you internalize that. So I think that well-rounded experience, really, with all the things that I do, from the nonprofit to the businesses to the law side to the social media to being able to market myself, I think they're all important for a judge or any public official really to have, because they understand more than just being, I've done nothing but in the law, right? I'm in the law and I'm staying in the law, and that's awesome. But I just provide a unique perspective.
It gives you a well-rounded, understanding of anybody, just civilians and the community that can come before you as a judge. You're able to put yourself not in their shoes, but at least understand how they got to that problem. Okay. You mentioned right now a little bit of the nonprofit. What is this organization that you built?
Sure. So I do a few speaking engagements a month or a quarter, and I was speaking at one of the elementary schools, and I was talking about, just motivation and following your dreams and doing that kind of thing. And we had an ending where they were allowed to ask questions, of course, and it was just a group of girls. And the first question I got, and I will never forget this, is she raises her hand, and she's this beautiful little girl, and she's 10. And she goes, what do I do if my mom doesn't believe in me?
Wow.
And my heart hit the floor, because my mom was so supportive and of me, and I was just like, this is the stuff that they're facing. And so I immediately was like, okay, right? This is a mission that I need to. So I rallied 4 wonderful friends of mine in different areas and said, hey, I want to start this nonprofit called Project Raising the Bar. So a little lawyer, you know?
Yeah.
But what we do, and we're new, but what we intend to do is take a group of high school girls from all over the city, underprivileged high school girls, and put them in a summer program. About 1 week of workshops where leaders from the community come in and teach them about entrepreneurship, about careers, about how to get into college, all that stuff, and then place them in an internship for 4 weeks.
Wow.
So that they have that for their resume. Now,
do they have to be seniors?
No.
No,
we're
just high school
targeting sophomore-ish.
Okay.
Or maybe even 8th grade to sophomore kind of. But and then so the whole goal is, I think women generally are harder on other women, right? It's some sort of competitive thing that we have with each other. So real talk, right? And so what I want to do is create those multi-generational bonds, right? So you meet, let's say a girl from Bowie meets someone from East Letta, and that's her friend that maybe if things aren't going okay at home, she can call. Or she's made that connection to somebody who did a workshop.
It's bridging a huge gap.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then she has that intern experience. So maybe somebody that she met during that internship, because I always want these girls to have someone to call, maybe if their mom doesn't believe in them, or mom is too busy working, or she just has nothing but brothers at home and she needs someone to talk
Somebody
to.
there, an alternate.
And so teaching women that it is okay to be empowered, that there's enough for everybody, and that we should really hold each other up. So that's the whole concept of raising the bar.
And you are. High
Thank
five.
you.
You definitely are.
Thank you, but I've got a great team of really supportive women here in El Paso, and that's the thing about El Paso is you can do anything here, right? People are gonna be supportive.
El Paso, I think is well grounded. There's a lot of opportunity. El Paso's growing.
Tons.
El Paso's growing, and there's a lot of opportunity. So, for you to provide a platform for young ladies, that's awesome. How can they be part of that program? Is there a website? Is there a social media? How do they reach?
Sure. So the website is projectraisingthebar.com, right? We have our social media too, but if they're interested, I put everything I do on my personal social media so that people can kind of see what's going on, including campaign stuff. So that's always the best way to reach me. But yes, we have our own website.
Sweet. All right. Well, then you guys have, bless you, you guys have all that information, so they'll have the access to that website and your website. You have a lot of information. You have a lot of great stuff. Great resources.
Thank you.
Before we end our interview, I'd like to just tap real quick on your opponents.
Okay.
How many opponents are you running against?
Okay, so there are 4 of us in the race, so that means I have 3 opponents.
Okay.
And if you're not familiar with the election process,
Which she clarified for me
let
earlier.
me break it down. Well, because it's confusing. It's like there's 100 elections going on at the same time. So there's a primary and there's a general election. So the primary election is all the Democrats go against each other, all the Republicans go against each other, and then whoever wins goes against each other in the general.
To the runoff.
Okay, so March, November. Now, a lot of times in El Paso, especially for these small races like judges, where people are like, I don't know, right? It's very important to vote in the primaries because a lot of times there's not a Republican opponent, right? So there's nobody over here, but there's 3, 4 people over here. So whoever wins this is going to run unopposed in November.
Yeah.
So,
and that's the case now.
Right. So there are no Republicans filed. So whoever wins my primary race is going to be your sitting judge, whether you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, whatever. Okay. So that's why it's important to pay attention to these primary races.
Absolutely. Oh, well, there you have it. You have Miss Alexandria Serra as one of your options. Good stuff. I've learned a lot just sitting down here with you, a couple of minutes. And you're doing great things. I definitely think that you're the best candidate. And that's me doing very little research. But having this talk with you, says a lot. Says a lot for you. Thank you for being here. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I loved it. Thank you for
right.
the opportunity. Thank you all for watching. And if you have any questions at any time, I answer my own DM, so please message me or call my office. They'll put the number, I'm sure, down there too.
It'll be there.
Yeah.
All right, Ms. Alexandria, thank you so much for being here. I hope you guys enjoyed this time with the candidate for the 327th District Court. And we hope to see good results come the end of March, right?
Go vote, early voting.
When's the deadline? Tell them now.
Okay, so early voting 14th through 25th. Election day is March 1st. You can actually now vote at any polling location. It used to be you just could in your neighborhood or whatever precinct.
But now it's anywhere.
But now it's anywhere. So on your way to work, when you pick the kids up from school, in your neighborhood. So epcountyvotes.com has all that information. Check them out.
Wow, even more information. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you guys have a blessed day. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching Icons. Bye-bye.
I'm lawyer Alexandria Serra, and I'm running for judge of the 327th District Court. I am a woman who stands up for other women.
a lawyer who fights for the rights of El Pasoans, and a small business owner that cares deeply for this city. For years, I've given free legal education to thousands of El Pasoans and defended the rights of our citizens in the highest courts in Texas. My father was born in Ponce, Puerto Rico. A child of a single mother, he moved to New York at the age of 6, not knowing any English. He worked his way through school, moved across the country, and started working in a steel factory. My parents raised me with a strong work ethic, the energy to face obstacles and break through them, and the spirit to never stop believing in myself or my community. The strength and determination of my family paved my way and gave me the opportunity to be right here, right now, asking for your vote. When it comes to picking the next judge of the 327, you deserve a judge with a strong work ethic and the energy to get the job done. I'm Alexandria SERRA, and I'm the right choice for the 327th District Court.
Hey guys, so we have gotten to the end of tonight's episode. We want to thank Alexandra for sharing all of the valuable information with us tonight. We wish you nothing but success in the upcoming elections, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.
The catwalk, the photos, the lights, the camera, the action. Get on your Prime and begin training today. Register at latstudio.com and become a Halo model.